As we gear up for the 2025 NFL Draft, the excitement is palpable, especially for the Philadelphia Eagles. With the draft just days away, we've already explored my top offensive targets for the team. Now, let's shift our focus to the defensive side of the ball and highlight some players who could make a significant impact for the Eagles. Starting with edge rushers, I'm particularly high on Mike Green from Marshall. He's a dynamic player who can really make a difference. James Pierce from Tennessee has a similar build and playing style to Green, making him another intriguing option. While Donovan Ezeraku may not possess the same speed or explosiveness as Green and Pierce, his college production speaks volumes. Then there's Jack Sawyer, who might not be the most athletic player, but he's a true football player who shines in big moments. He reminds me of Trent Cole, one of the best pass rushers in Eagles history. Cole wasn't known for his speed, but his relentless motor and ability to bull rush made him incredibly effective. The Eagles are reportedly very interested in Nick Scorton from Texas A&M. Green has faced some legal and character issues in the past, but if those concerns are resolved and he falls to the Eagles, he could be a fantastic pick. He has the twitch, bend, size, and speed to collapse the pocket and produce sacks. Last season, he recorded 17 sacks and 23 tackles for loss, leading the nation in both categories, along with 59 pressures. James Pierce has been a first-team All-SEC player for the last 2 years. He's a bit leaner than Green, but at 6 feet 5 inches and weighing around 240 to 250 pounds. He clocked a sub-4.5 40-yard dash. He's also had impressive pressure numbers, with 55 pressures and solid sack totals over the past 2 seasons. Donovan Ezeraku is another player the Eagles have shown interest in during the pre-draft process. He fits well as an edge rusher in Vic Fangio's scheme, boasting 16.5 sacks and 60 pressures while playing in the ACC for Boston College. In 2024, Jack Sawyer may not dazzle with his athleticism, but he's a grinder who plays hard until the whistle blows. He recorded 64 pressures and 9 sacks in 2024, showcasing his ability against tough competition in the Big Ten. Nick Scorton has been highly productive and offers versatility as both a defensive tackle and end. He had 5 sacks and 36 pressures last year, following up on a strong 2023 season with 10 sacks and 42 pressures at Purdue. Other edge rushers to keep an eye on include Jordan Birch from Oregon, Landon Jackson, a long athlete from Arkansas who transferred from LSU, Olu Fashanu from UCLA, Josiah Stewart, who was highly productive at Michigan, and Braden Swinson from LSU. Swinson is a player I think many are overlooking, but he could be a hidden gem for Philadelphia. Standing at 6 feet 4 inches and weighing 255 pounds with 33-inch arms, he's a read-and-react rusher who fits well as a stand-up 3-4 pass rusher. After transferring from Oregon to LSU, he played exceptionally well and could start as a rotational player, which is exactly what the Eagles need along their defensive line. Now, let's turn our attention to the interior of the defensive line, where players like Walter Nolan from Ole Miss, Kenneth Grant from Michigan, and Darius Alexander, who is 24 years old, are making waves. Continuing our look at potential draft picks for the Philadelphia Eagles, I want to highlight some intriguing defensive tackle prospects. One player I really like is Alfred Collins from Texas. He's an athletic powerhouse who can make a significant impact. Another name to watch is Omar Norman Lott from Tennessee, who has also caught my attention. Walter Nolan is a player I'm particularly excited about. He could be a first-round pick, possibly going as high as 11th to the 49ers or falling to the Eagles at 32. Some concerns have been raised about his personality and character, but if those issues are resolved, he could be a fantastic addition. After transferring from Texas A&M to Ole Miss, he had a strong season under Lane Kiffin. Nolan, a former #1 overall recruit in high school, is explosive, twitchy, and plays with a violent edge. At 300 pounds, he excels against the run and as a pass rusher, making him a potential replacement for Milton Williams. While his pass rushing technique needs some refinement, those skills can be developed at the NFL level. Other defensive tackles to consider include Shamar Turner from Texas A&M, who played on a loaded defensive line, and TJ Sanders from South Carolina. Annis Peebles is a bit smaller but quick off the snap, while CJ West is an impressive athlete. Riley Mills offers versatility, able to play both inside and as a defensive end in a 3-4 system. Looking at the Eagles' edge depth chart, they have promising young players like Nolan Smith and Jale Hunt. The team also signed Josh Uche and Azeez Ojulari to one-year contracts, indicating they're looking to bolster their pass rush. Howie Roseman is likely to prioritize selecting an edge rusher early in the draft, as it's a pressing need. On the interior, the Eagles have some solid pieces, including Morrow, who was one of the highest-graded pass-rushing defensive tackles last year. Jordan Davis showed significant improvement last season, and Jalen Carter is one of the most dominant players in football. However, depth is crucial, and the Eagles need young players they can develop. This draft class is rich in talent at both edge and defensive tackle, so expect Roseman to address the defensive line early. Now let's move to the second level of the defense, where linebackers like Jair Campbell from Alabama and Carson Schwenke from UCLA are making waves. Campbell has been mocked to the Eagles in recent drafts, and if he falls to 32, he could be a steal. Many believe he's a top 15 to 20 player in this class. The Eagles might not be able to resist the temptation to draft him, especially with uncertainty surrounding Nakobe Dean's return. At 6 feet 2 inches and 235 pounds, Campbell moves well, clocking a 4.52 40-yard dash. He has played 35 games with 21 starts at Alabama, showcasing his ability to cover ground. While his off-ball instincts need some development, there are flashes on tape that suggest he has the potential to be a solid linebacker in the NFL. The Eagles have also met with Kobe King, a linebacker from Penn State, during their pre-draft visits. He has a relative athletic score of 8.03, just above the Eagles' preferred threshold. Although he's a bit slower, running a 4.67 40-yard dash, his 10-yard split was impressive. Another linebacker I like is Teddy Buchanan from California. While he sometimes struggles with instincts, he excels in coverage and reminds me of Fred Warner, a former third-round pick who has become one of the best off-ball linebackers in the league. Buchanan is an athletic specimen, standing 6 feet 2 inches and weighing 233 pounds, with a relative athletic score of 9.42. He performed well in the bench press, completing 26 reps of 225 pounds, and has impressive vertical and broad jump numbers. His speed and coverage ability make him a player to watch. Vic Fangio has a well-earned reputation for developing linebackers and maximizing their potential throughout his coaching career. Zach Bond, who recently signed a contract extension worth $17 million per year, was a first-team All-Pro. However, there are still questions about when Nakobe Dean will return and the overall depth at the linebacker position. I'm optimistic about Jeremiah Trotter Jr., but beyond him, there are concerns about the backup linebackers. Now, let's shift our focus to the cornerback position, which boasts a strong class this year. Jaden Barron stands out as the best zone corner in the draft, while Maxwell Hairston has impressive speed. Trey Amos and Jacob Parrish also bring solid athleticism to the table. Shavon Rawl is another intriguing prospect. He would likely have been a first-round pick if he hadn't torn his ACL. The East Carolina product has shown he can play at a high level when healthy. Looking at the cornerbacks on the screen, it's clear they have the speed to compete. Jaden Barron clocked a sub-4.4-second 40-yard dash at 5'10" and 194 pounds. Maxwell Hairston ran an incredible 4.28 at 5'11" and 183 pounds, making him a great fit for the Eagles' scheme. Trey Amos has good length and ran a solid 4.43, while Jacob Parrish, though smaller at 5 feet 9 inches and 191 pounds, plays much bigger than his size suggests. He's physical and possesses excellent coverage skills, with a 4.35 40-yard dash. As for Shavon Rawl, his numbers from 2023 are impressive. He faced significant adversity growing up, but managed to give up only 1 touchdown in coverage during the season. Targeted just 43 times over 12 games, he allowed only 19 catches for 250 yards and that lone touchdown. He also recorded 14 pass breakups, showcasing his ability to make plays on the ball, and he had a quarterback rating of just 61.2 when targeted. Unfortunately, his ACL injury in 2024 has raised concerns, but he still managed to make an impact in the 3 games he played that season, with 4 pass breakups and 2 interceptions, one of which was returned for a touchdown. Despite the injury concerns, the Eagles have shown they're willing to take chances on high-level players with some medical red flags. This draft class is deep at cornerback, which makes it puzzling that some analysts claim it's not that strong. There's a wealth of talent across various positions, and other cornerbacks to keep an eye on include Noah Williams, Cal Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame, and Denzel Burke, who was the most experienced player on the Ohio State defense. As we continue to evaluate potential draft picks for the Philadelphia Eagles, let's take a closer look at some cornerback and safety prospects. Upton Stout from Western Kentucky is a smaller player to keep an eye on, along with Kobe Bryant from Kansas. Stout, at 5 feet 8 inches and 181 pounds, ran a 4.4-second 40-yard dash and showcased impressive fluidity as a cover corner. He reached a top speed of 19.47 miles per hour during the gauntlet drill, the fastest among all corners. While he sometimes struggles with recovery speed on tape, his physicality and long wingspan make him a reliable tackler. The Eagles have a talented cornerback group, but there are still some question marks. How they view Cooper Dean could influence their draft strategy. Do they see him as an outside corner or prefer to keep him at nickel? I believe keeping him at nickel would allow for more versatility, making him a valuable asset in various roles. It's also interesting to note that Keely Ringo is younger than many corners in this draft class, yet he's entering his 3rd year. The Eagles have high hopes for him, and Queenon Mitchell has proven to be a standout player as well. After those three, Eli Ricks is another corner with great length and potential, making him a solid option for the Eagles to consider for depth. Now let's shift our focus to the safety position. Nick Emanwuri is an athletic freak, while Malachi Starks, another Georgia Bulldog, has shown great promise. Xavier Watts was a key player for Notre Dame, helping them reach the national championship. Kevin Winston has a partially torn ACL from 2024, but he possesses the character, length, and athleticism to be a high-level player in the NFL. Andrew Makuba had a significant role at Texas and performed well in their complex defense. Emanwuri boasts a perfect 10 relative athletic score, although he sometimes over-pursues and misses tackles, indicating that his instincts could use some work. Standing at 6 feet 3 inches and weighing 220 pounds, he had an impressive 20 reps on the bench, a 43-inch vertical, and an 11-foot broad jump, along with a sub-4.4 40-yard dash. Malachi Starks, at 6 feet 0 inches and 197 pounds, is a fluid athlete with 42 college starts under his belt. He has the speed to cover ground and a clean pedal, showing good instincts and the ability to diagnose plays. However, his relative athletic score is surprisingly low at 5.29, which might cause him to drop on draft boards despite his playmaking ability. The Eagles have also shown interest in some Penn State safeties, including Jalen Reed, who had a relative athletic score of 9. He was a key player alongside Kevin Winston before Winston's injury. Reed ran a sub-4.5 40-yard dash and, at 5'11 inches and 211 pounds, has the potential to develop into a solid player. His coverage numbers from last season show he was targeted 38 times, allowing 32 catches, indicating he may need some refinement but has the tools to improve. The safety position is a bit uncertain for the Eagles, especially after trading away C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Reed Blankenship is one of the more underrated safeties in the NFL. But the team's depth is a concern. They may look to sign a player like Justin Simmons or explore other options. With unproven depth pieces like Tristan McCullum, Lewis Sine, and Andre Sam, it's clear that safety is a position the Eagles could target early in the draft. So, who is your favorite defensive player for the Eagles in this draft? I always appreciate your feedback and interaction, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section.